Hey, fellow mathers! Before we get into this episode, we want to share with you how you can get access to free content, professional learning that will keep your students engaged and doing the math that matters. Get ready to go to this link, mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge.
That's right. Registration is open for the free Math is Figureoutable Challenge that's starting May 15th and runs to the 17th at 7 p.m. Central. We're going to have 3 nights jam packed with learning and routines that you can take straight to your classroom.
In these challenges, we have a great time. We do some math, talk about classroom experiences, give away super cool bonuses and prizes. You won't just walk away with routines that are naturally engaging and encourage your students to think mathematically. You'll also have a chance to win over 6K worth in prizes, including a few virtual PD sessions for your school. I'll be joined by my wonderful co-host Kim and special guest Jenna Labe.
You can register at mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge for a fantastic learning experience. That's mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge. Now on to the show.
Hey, fellow mathematicians, welcome to the podcast where math is figure-outable. I'm Pam Harris.
And I'm Kim Montague.
And this is a Math Strat Chat episode where we chat about our math strategies. Every Wednesday evening, I throw out a math problem on social media and people from around the world chat about the strategies they use and comment on each other's thinking.
Okay, so this week our math problem was 4/16 times 2/5, and we're wondering how you would solve this problem. Pause the podcast, solve it however you want. The problem is 4/16 times 2/5. Solve it, and then come back to hear how we're going to solve it.
Bam. All right, I'm going to go first.
Go for it.
So, I'm going to find 4/16 is equivalent to 1/4.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about 1/4 of 2/5. And I'm going to think about 1/4 of anything as a half of that thing times a half of that thing. So a half of 2/5 is 1/5. Half of 2 anythings is one of those things. So a half of 2/5 is 1/5. Now I have to find a half of 1/5. Now I could go a couple directions. I'm going to choose to go a half of 1/5 is thinking about what a fifth looks like in respect to the whole. And if I cut that fifth in half, I think I would have a piece called a tenth.
Yep.
That's one way to think of it. Can I think of it another way real quick?
Sure.
So I can also think about a half of a fifth as, and this is tricky because let me tell you what I'm writing. I'm writing 0.5 divided by the fraction bar fifths. So it's like, or I could have written the little tiny fraction 1/2 and then the big fraction bar 5 or fifths. 1/2, it's a half of a fifth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could say a half of a fifth, I could scale that to make a tenth, and then that's also 1/10. It's a couple different ways of thinking about it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool. All right, what are you thinking about?
So, I love the fractions and the percents, but what I don't force myself to do quite as much is decimals. So I'm going to go decimals because I recognize these both are nice decimals. So I wrote down 0.25, 25 hundredths times 0.4, 4/10. So then that's nice because it's got a 25 times 4.
Ah.
So I wrote down 100. And then I'm scaling that down 3 tens. So 1,000? No, 10, 20. Yep, 1,000 to get 0.1.
Oh, that's why you said 1,000th. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
where do you? Gotcha.
So go from 100 to go, and then I scaled it down 3 tens. Found a tenth of it, found a tenth of it, found a tenth of it.
Yeah. It's funny you said a tenth and I said divided by 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. You know what I thought maybe you were going to do? Once when you were saying that, I wrote down what you were doing so I could follow your thinking. Mm-hmm. And when you had 0.25 times 0.4, I wondered if you were going to double in half. So 0.25 would be 0.5. If I double that to a half, 0.5, and then I'd have to half 0.4, which is 0.2. Mm-hmm. And then I could do that again. So double the half, the 0.5 to 1 times halve the 0.2 to 0.1. And 1 times 0.1 is 0.1 or 1/10.
Yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't have thought of that, Kim, if you hadn't said put it in decimals.
Well, and I was going to say, I don't know that I as much think about double half with fractions, although it's certainly doable.
Yeah.
But I think I naturally gravitate towards it more in decimals.
Well, that's interesting because,
look for,
like as you say, 1/4 of 2/5, I could double the 1/4
Uh-huh.
to get 1/2, and half the 2/5 to get 1/5.
Uh-huh.
And then right there, I think I'd stop and I'd think about a half of a fifth.
But then if you have a fifth, you can half that to get a tenth
Mm-hmm.
and double. Yeah, you think you'd stop? I think once
Well,
you said it, I was like, oh no, I'd keep going.
well, you could keep going, but notice
Yeah.
where you are. You're at a half of a fifth. Like,
Yeah.
so you
But
could
you know
keep.
what? I just switched my brain to decimals when you were saying it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So weird.
So it's funny to me
Strange.
because once I have a half of a fifth, half times 1/5, you said, but you could keep going. But if you double the half to get 1, then you have to half the fifth. You have to do the thing that you have to half.
I mean,
the
if
fifth.
it's a thing to do, like I don't know. I just, because we were talking about a half of a fifth is a tenth just a second ago,
Uh-huh.
I didn't really think about it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
All right.
That was a good one.
Fun fractions
Yay.
are fun. All right. We can't wait to see what you're thinking. Did you think about decimals or fractions or percents? Share your strategy, take a picture, and tell the world on social media. And while you're checking out what you did, check out what other people did and comment on their thinking.
Okay, whether you're checking out what you did while you're posting what
Well,
you
you're
did.
posting what you did. All right.
And
So many words.
Tag me and use the hashtag MathStratChat. And make sure that you check out the next MathStratChat problem that we'll post Wednesday around 7 p.m. and then come back here to hear how we're thinking about the problem. Y'all, we love having you as part of the Math is Figureoutable movement. Thanks for spreading the word that math is figureoutable. Thank you for listening and making math more figureoutable.
To learn even more, make sure you register for our free challenge at mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge. You are not going to want to miss the evenings of May 15th through 17th, starting at 7 p.m. Central.
Math teaching, go register now. That's mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge. Join us to make math more and more figureoutable. And if you can't join live, register and we'll send you access to the recordings. We'll see you there.